I want to play something that's comfy, you know? Something that's pleasant to trudge through and fun, but simple. Something... Okay, obviously you read the video title, you know it's a boy and his blob for the Wii. This is a bit of a reimagining of an NES game called A Boy and His Blob, Trouble and Bologna... What the fuck? And it was a pretty strange game. Still is to this day, really. You play as a boy who's made friends with a blob, and you need to rely on him to advance in the stage. And how do you do that? You feed your blob various flavored jelly beans to have it change into the tool you need for the situation. At any time, call for him and he'll revert back so you can feed him a different jelly bean for a different problem. It's kinda got a cult classic thing going for it. It's never been as popular as your Mega Mans and your Ninja Gaidens and Marios, but a lot of people do remember it fondly. But you know how it goes, and just a canceled sequel after bankrupt company, and just a casual 19 years later, we finally get our reimagining of A Boy and His Blob released to the Wii. Is it just me who looks at a number like that, feels really old, and goes, man, I bet there are a lot of people around then who wanted this who are dead now. Anyways, developed by WayForward, a company I can't seem to stop reviewing and I swear it's not on purpose, this game follows the same basic premise as the NES original in almost every way. Team up with your blob buddy and traverse the world to save it, or something like that. The game opens with the boy in his bed to awaken just in time to see a shooting star pass his window. Traveling outside, you find these sludge-like monsters and the occasional treasure chest that I can't figure out how to open no matter what I do. Well, this is immediately frustrating. A, B, up, down, X, Y, left trigger, right trigger, nothing opens them. So maybe they don't matter yet? Or I'm stupid, it's one or the other. Forget it, I can't do anything with this, it's time to move on. You come upon where the shooting star crashed, finding Blob, who you coax into not being afraid of you, and you bring back to your treehouse. You get a short cutscene where a jar of jelly beans are knocked over, Blob eats one, and he turns into a ladder. Now that you've got the duo together and the mechanics established, it's time to play the game level by level. There isn't a whole lot more to it than that. The whole game is driven by solving puzzles with your jelly beans and figuring out how to move forward. We got this sign here that says make a ladder, so I think it's safe to assume we need to make a ladder here. And then we got this sign to make a hole, so we'll make a hole, take a look at what's down below, and... You set me up, sign. Actually, no. In this case, I'm just stupid. It was trying to show that you can kill enemies in this manner. See, A Boy and His Blob is a game that continually builds on itself, bringing new puzzles and jelly beans to the table, but only after you've mastered a previous mechanic. I never really felt like I ended up at a problem I didn't already learn the answer for. It was up to me to put the pieces together. It starts really simple, giving you only a couple jelly beans and having signs that help you along the way. But before you know it, it's incorporating a ton of different jelly beans, and these signs slowly disappear. The next jelly bean I got transformed Blob into a bowling ball, which allowed me to roll him into tight areas and kill specific enemies. And then even later in the game, you get really crazy jelly beans, like this one that turns him into a cannon so you can shoot yourself to areas and break through certain walls. And you could even get this hamster ball that's honestly kinda stupid. You have very little control over this thing, it just accelerates way too much or little, or I can't even get a handle on this thing or how it works. Honestly though, besides this ball transformation, the game controls fine. You won't be zooming around like most platformers, as you really do feel like a helpless kid relying on your blob friend. What, with your short hops and your Blob voice? But I think this all feels right and plays in service of the mechanics of the game. Even when the game gets more complicated, it's very patient and easygoing. Not even the 4 boss fights of the game are very high energy. Yes, some of them you'll be running around a lot trying to dodge the projectiles, but honestly, the bosses feel like they were disguised as an elaborate puzzle where you put together everything you've learned from that point to dismantle them. And really, I think this is super cool. Granted, this didn't apply to, all the bosses. One thing I'd like to say about the game is... Wait just 1 second here. Do you remember those chests in the beginning? The ones I couldn't open? Well, apparently your blob buddy just eats them up and spits them up at the end of the stage. I'll be honest, this initially really pissed me off. I wasted a lot of time trying to open these things and figured either I'm stupid or it was just something obscure that I figured out later. Blob was introduced after you find the treasure chests littered about. I did get over this quickly. I mean, you find Blob, in the first 10 minutes of the game? And Blob does automatically eat them, so you're bound to run over one eventually, but why did they introduce the chests first and Blob second? And let's talk about these chests, shall we? So this game is really easy. Sometimes even so easy that if you were to just play through it straight from beginning to end, not bothering with anything, then you might find it rather boring and short. But what brings a bit of length and challenge to the game is collecting all 3 treasure chests in a given level. They're never that hard, but they definitely add a bit of a much needed challenge to the levels. Collecting them gives neat little extras like bonus levels and concept art. Just really cool things to give this game decent replay value and reward you for going out of your way. And then you have these imprisoned blobs in later levels that you can save with the balloon jelly bean and... wait a second, are these guys like a side objective or a collectible too? There's a ton of them. Like, look at these poor guys. I'm just gonna assume they are. Don't you want to help them? I mean, if I don't, who will? Really puts that treasure gathering into perspective, you know? I wasn't too interested in this until I saw that cute little blob monster that needed my help. Now there's a way to incentivize your player. Screw the chests. Save the blobs. Now that I got him free and... whoops, I died. Well, at least I saved my... What? No! The blob is still there, but it counts my chest? Okay, that's it. I'm going back. I'm doing it and I'm not dying. You can't tell me I can't save him. I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna save the blob dude. I'm gonna bring it back. I don't care how many times I die. I'm gonna save my blob friend. Just because you think you could dangle this poor guy stuck in a cage in front of me and oh, look at him. You wanna go save him and give me the chest. Who cares about the chest? Alright, well, now that we're done with that, it's time for me and my blob buddy to move on. Really, if I had to complain about one thing in this game, just one, it would be that my Blob's AI is dumber than a brick. He's constantly falling down pits, failing to navigate terrain, delaying my ability to end a stage. It's like the programmers knew this was a problem, because if you call for Blob enough times, he automatically turns into the balloon without needing to feed him a jelly bean. And this really helps a lot. I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously, I'd like him to follow me correctly in the first place, but if I couldn't force him to my location, this would be an absolute nightmare of a problem. It would go from an annoying time waste to, okay, I'm done. I'm abandoning you, Blob. I'm sick of you. Nobody loves you. Bye. But I think that's where my criticisms stop, and I can safely say I had a lot of fun with this game. The art is refreshingly vibrant and colorful, a nice contrast to the most modern games' washed out, dull color choices. The music score is really solid, ranging from okay to very memorable. And most of all, it was just a lot of fun. It felt good to finally make it through the water death trap and save that poor captured blob. It was exciting to figure out how to handle the next phase of a boss. And it even felt rewarding to find alternate solutions to puzzles when they seemed to be designed for one solution, but you were able to finagle another one out of it. It was just overall a great journey while it lasted, and while this game may not be for everyone, it's easy to recommend for anyone who's a fan of puzzle platformers. While it can be had for $15 to $20 on the Wii, a price that I think is fair, especially if you're weird like me and need physical copies of everything, it has been released on the PS3, PS4, Vita, Xbox One, and PC for $10 no matter what your platform of choice is, which is an even better deal.